have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person, and the impact of her comment. There is no impact. There aren't neo-Nazis waiting for the green light from a lady on The View to go out and do a new crystal knots.
Yeah, well, it's so right. And the whole point of free speech is we don't need free speech when we're right, when everyone agrees with us. We need free speech when we're wrong. We need free speech to make mistakes. We need free speech to say really unpopular things. And one of the reasons I'm always proud to come on this show, and I suspect you feel the same way, Catherine, is this is the only space left on television where people can speak freely and not be terrified, right? And you have...
The winners, the losers. My message to the losers, losers look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Losers look in the mirror, okay? For months, Democrats have been saying, how is this even close? And they're right. It wasn't. Yeah. They could not conceive of a second Trump term, but they should have. When does America ever turn down second? Come on.
Bill Maher didn't just walk into The View, he detonated it. No pleasantries, no fake smiles, no playing along. Within seconds, the air turned sharp, the laughter died, and Whoopi Goldberg, smug, seasoned, untouchable, found herself dead center in the blast zone. What started as another scripted circus of echo chamber politics turned into a live autopsy of everything wrong with mainstream media. Maher didn't rant. He didn't foam at the mouth. He didn't need to. With surgical calm, he exposed The View for exactly what it is: a polished machine that pretends to value dialogue while quietly strangling dissent. He challenged the queen bees to their faces, called out their ideological bubble, and fired shots that hit so hard you could feel the studio lights dim. He even did the unthinkable, defended Whoopi's right to speak freely right after calling her statement insane. Why? Because Maher came for war, not applause. He came to burn the script. And what followed wasn't just tension, it was full-on panic mode. Frozen faces, producers scrambling, damage control kicking in before the conversation even ended. By the time the dust settled, Maher hadn't just embarrassed Whoopi, he had stripped The View to its core. No makeup, no filters, no applause signs. Just raw exposure of a show that claims to stand for all views, while silencing anyone with a real one. And America? They finally saw it.
The whole point is they didn't vote for him because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
Black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not, let me just ask, what stat are you talking about?
Let me just dissect the two.
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on. Calm down.
They won. Now they have reality they have to deal with. We'll see what they do. See if they live up to their word. Trump says he's going to deport 12 million people. How are you going to get 12 million people back into Mexico? And today Trump said, I'm way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall?
It was supposed to be just another episode of The View. Same smug grins, same tired hot takes, same politically sanitized circle jerk wrapped in fake laughter. The script was set, the hosts were glowing, and the audience was primed to cheer for whatever came out of Whoopi's mouth. But then, Bill Maher walked in. And he wasn't there to sip tea or play diplomat. He came in like a loaded weapon, with one goal: break the illusion. From the second he sat down, the vibe turned volatile. The room, once warm and chirpy, went ice cold. He didn't crack a smile. He didn't fake a laugh. And when he finally spoke, he didn't ease in. He cut deep. "Losers look in the mirror," he said, calm as a blade. The sentence hit like a head-on collision. You could see the smugness drain off the panel's faces. No one laughed. No one clapped. The energy, gone. Dead silent. Because this wasn't a sparring match. It was an ambush. And the hosts, they weren't ready for it. Maher didn't come to discuss. He came to confront. Not with yelling, not with rants, but with surgical precision and brutal clarity. He didn't just challenge them. He flipped their whole narrative like a table in a mob movie. And suddenly, The View wasn't in control anymore.
Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend. We can disagree with each other. Should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Not every single thing has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but
But
isn't it interesting that it's called, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America. There is one view.
Right. And
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
Maher didn't bother with subtlety. He went straight for the jugular. He said what millions think, but no one on mainstream TV dares to utter. The View isn't about diverse opinions. It's about controlled opposition. Different faces, same script. If you play along, you're applauded. If you deviate, you're demonized. One wrong opinion and you're branded a threat, sidelined, or erased. And Maher didn't just say it. He dared them to deny it. Then he widened the blast radius. He dragged Saturday Night Live into the spotlight and asked the one question that made the room flinch. What if someone on that cast actually supported Trump? Would they feel safe saying it out loud? Maher's answer? No FKN way. The crowd knew it. The hosts knew it. And that's when the temperature dropped. This wasn't a hot take. It was a live dissection of elite media hypocrisy. Maher didn't just poke the bear. He ripped off its mask and showed the machinery underneath. The View doesn't foster dialogue. It stages it. It's not a panel. It's a performance. And that day, Maher didn't play along. He came to torch the set and salt the earth. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Right after slicing into The View's hypocrisy, Maher flipped the script. He brought up Whoopi Goldberg's suspension, the moment she got benched like a child over a comment the network didn't like. He didn't sugarcoat it either. Her statement was crazy, he said, brutally honest. But then came the whiplash. Maher, the guy who just obliterated her show, turned around and defended her. Not because he agreed with her, hell no, but because he actually believes in something The View only pretends to: free speech. He torched ABC for treating a 60-something-year-old icon like a school kid. Take time to reflect and learn? Are you kidding? Maher's sarcasm was razor sharp. He mocked the idea that neo-Nazis are sitting around waiting for Whoopi Goldberg to give them marching orders. The moment the words left his mouth, the tension went nuclear. Even Whoopi looked stunned, because in that moment, Maher proved a point bigger than the show, bigger than the network. Free speech doesn't require agreement. It requires guts. And the only person in that studio who had any that day was the one the hosts were hoping to silence. If you thought things couldn't get more uncomfortable, brace yourself. The hosts, clearly nervous, tiptoed into Middle East territory, probably expecting Maher to throw out a few woke-approved platitudes and keep it tame. Instead, he detonated the table. Maher didn't blink. He defended Israel's right to strike back, bluntly, unapologetically, and then took a sledgehammer to the narrative. He exposed how billions in international aid weren't building schools or hospitals, but funding bombs, guns, and underground tunnels. There was no fluff, no sugarcoating, no safe zone rhetoric, just cold, unfiltered reality. And the effect? Instant frostbite. The room went dead quiet. The hosts, so quick to clap back, so eager to pounce, suddenly had nothing. No witty comebacks, no moral high ground, just twitchy eyes and clenched jaws. Because Maher didn't just say something controversial, he said something none of them were brave enough to answer. He broke the script and forced them into silence. And in that silence, the audience didn't just see discomfort, they saw fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of having to actually debate. And that fear, Maher smelled it from a mile away. Maher has dropped a seismic message that mainstream media elites have been avoiding like radioactive fallout. In a single eye-opening moment, he told viewers what liberal coastal commentators have tiptoed around for years. Not all Trump supporters are racist. They're exhausted. They didn't vote out of hate, they voted out of survival. With that line, Maher didn't just poke holes in The View's well-worn narrative, he obliterated it. For a decade, coastal pundits have driven the script. Maher unraveled it live, exposing the arrogance, hollow group thinking, and condescension that have defined much of the media's coverage. The audience vibe, you could actually feel them lean in. Suddenly, the polished anchors and hosts looked brittle, their spoon-fed talking points rotting in real time. Next in his crosshairs, the self-righteous celebrity class, late-night comics and Hollywood elites preaching courage. Maher shredded them. Those, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Canada" op-eds, still here. He called it what it is, performative cowardice. They're not afraid of Trump, they're afraid of their peers. They're terrified to speak unscripted, scared to be iced out for thinking differently. Then came the death blow, the line that didn't just land, it detonated. Maher looked deadpan at the panel and said, "It's called The View, not the facts." No chuckles, no applause, just stunned silence. It was a mic drop delivered like a sniper shot, quiet, precise, devastating. The hosts froze, the audience held its breath, because in that single sentence, Maher didn't just mock the show, he exposed its entire facade. He reminded everyone that Barbara Walters built The View to showcase real diversity, different backgrounds, different beliefs, open dialogue. But now, that vision's a corpse. What's left is one belief system, one approved opinion, and an ironclad rule. Step out of line, and you vanish. Guests get iced mid-segment. Hosts self-censor just to survive. Entire topics vanish in real time the moment they get uncomfortable. And the viewers, they're fed a carefully packaged illusion. A fake fight, a scripted spat, a pre-approved debate where everyone lands back on the same safe conclusion. Maher ripped the mask clean off. He didn't just tell the truth, he rubbed their faces in it. And for once, The View had nothing to say. In just one segment, Bill Maher didn't crack the mirror, he shattered it into 1,000 jagged pieces. He didn't just humiliate The View, he gutted it, live, on camera. He stripped away the branding, the buzzwords, the fake sisterhood, and revealed the rotting core underneath. Not a forum for discussion, but a stage-managed cult of obedience. Every time Maher spoke, the hosts didn't push back. They froze. Not because they were shocked, because they were exposed. He defended free speech like it meant something. He challenged the media's golden narrative. He made the liberal gatekeepers sweat through their foundation, and in doing so, he proved a brutal truth. On shows built for performance, the biggest threat isn't a debate, it's honesty. And when that honesty hit the table, they didn't argue, they didn't fight, they went silent. Ice cold, and that silence, that wasn't professionalism, that wasn't grace, that was fear. Not fear of being wrong, fear of finally being seen.